Hi, I'm Kim Wilson,
And I'm Natasha Marchewka.
and this is Speechless.
Speechless. Speechless.
Welcome to our behind-the-scenes take on real life in VO, where we share our stories, our resources, and our unsolicited opinions. Today is one of my favorite days.
We have one of our favorite guests on today. He was the very first coach last season for our sort of coaching episodes.
Mhm.
Our favorite, Thom Pinto, who I like to spell T-H-O-M, but he goes by T-O-M or T-H-O-M, whichever you
Oh my God,
prefer.
I always
You didn't know?
T-H-O-M is what I thought.
Yeah, he goes by both. He's okay with T-H-O-M, but really he
Okay.
likes T-O-M, but there's
You
enough
heard it here,
T-O-Ms.
folks. He likes
You
it
did.
both. Otherwise, I screwed up every time I've talked to
I
him.
don't like calling him Thomas. That just doesn't feel right.
No,
Right? It's
okay. Tommy's much better. Okay, go ahead.
So today is part 1 of 2. Thom has so much great information. The topic is the truth about TV narration, but deeper than that, the truth about working in TV narration, because as some of you may or may not know, it's extra difficult to get
How
jobs.
hard can it be?
It's really hard. So we've bulleted questions at him. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
In part 1, and in part 2, well, the goodness continues with different genres of TV narration, but you'll have to listen to part 2 next week. All right, so enjoy our time with Thom. So great
official.
to see you, Thom.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for
Oh,
coming
you
back to our
guys,
show.
of
Yay,
course,
yay.
the speechless ladies who really aren't speechless, and appropriately so. That's okay.
Today we're talking about the truth of working in TV narration. And before we pellet you with questions, let's share our beverages.
Okay.
Shall
Thom,
we?
you go first.
You
You're a
Okay.
guest.
So this is okay. So because I have to teach in 2.5 hours, okay, this does not contain the alcohol, but I'll start with.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
this
beautiful.
is a blood red, a blood orange soda that you can get at Trader Joe's.
Oh,
It's
yum, I love that.
called Villa something or weather. Okay. If you think it's too sweet, you can put a little club soda in it just to kind of do that. And then I got an orange slice. And then my preference is tequila, Casamigos. So
Okay.
salud,
Oh,
I
salud.
love that.
ladies.
Kim, what do you have?
I have a mint from my garden, and then I
Yay!
Show off.
made, I know, totally. And I made it's called a South Side. It has gin, it's got lemon, and it's got elder flower. And then the best part about it is it says, this mint, but when you read the directions, it's like, it says, slap the mint.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So I got mint from
That's
my garden.
funny.
So
Just
those
slap-
of you who are listening to our podcast, Kim just
Yes.
came out with like a whole bush of mint and slapped her glass with the mint.
And I'm impressed that her mint, considering, East Coast, that your mint is that abundant.
Yeah, it's
already.
very abundant.
Yeah,
all
it
podcast
is.
listeners. Well, I'm going with a mimosa, and shame on me for making it in my booth. Oh my gosh, real engineers would shudder that I'm.
Oh yeah, you're that
But
person. You're
Yeah,
that guy.
but guess what? You're the one that's gonna pop for the rewiring.
That's
That's
right.
true.
It's different if you show up
That's
at LA Studios, down to your neck of the woods and did that. No, wouldn't get away with that.
So cheers. Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers. Yay.
Brady, and the run of your second season, and God,
Oh,
thanks
thank you.
for
Thank
having
you.
me back.
And thanks
So
for
glad to have
kicking
you.
off our first one with being the first coach on season 1. And
Episode 24.
you're one of the most popular shows that we've had over the past 2 years.
Yeah, you are.
Here's
Wow.
to that. L'chaim. All right.
Yes.
When I said, Thom, this is called The Truth of Working in TV Narration.
Mhm.
I saw a little bit of shock to your face. See, we prepped Tom with all the questions, so he should know what the show is about. But
He's
he
like
was a
that. I
bit
didn't see
taken
that. I didn't
I don't
see that
know.
on
Is
the.
this going to be like a congressional committee?
No, no,
Well-
no, no.
Am I going to?
Well, we like to give titles that, they're slightly sensational to attract attention, and then we provide education when it comes down to it. So,
And then exactly, that's what we're
Right.
in the business of doing. At least that's
Right.
what I'm in the business of doing
indeed.
as a coach. Sure.
So last show, we already provided your bio. So y'all just go back to episode 24, listen to all the wonderful things about Tom so we can get on with the show. But what we want to know first, Tom, is that just to share a little bit with our viewers again, you are a prolific working voice actor and narrator and coach in every genre. And I'm wondering, do you coach for every genre? Let our viewers and listeners know what genres you will coach in, please.
It's interesting because I have over the years coached promo, coached commercial, as well as narration. The thing that has happened, not just because of my time, but there are so many people out there doing commercial that when it comes to private lessons, it's like that just kind of started steamrolling. And I will say thank Debbie Cope, who said, please work with this person. So I can say that about 75% of my coaching is TV narration.
Mm-hmm.
The other 25%, and I'm talking about private lessons now, are from people that I know that they're working pros, and they're saying, I've hit a wall, I've hit a booking stump, a plateau, absolutely. And I do audition reviews. So basically, they will send me 6 scripts, 6 MP3s, 6 set of specs. I say, do not tell me ahead of time how you feel about it. Don't bias me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I want to be able to listen to it like a producer, number one, then like a coach, Tom, and let them know and say, hey, this really was a very solid audition. The rest is up to the VO gods. Maybe I provide an option or something like that. You could have gone this way too, which doesn't mean that my way is better, but it's just maybe it opens up their mind for something else. So that's what I do. I don't cultivate newer commercial talent. When I do group workshops and you've experienced Voice Tracks, San Francisco, that particular situation, that's where I work with many times intermediate to advanced people in the world of commercial. In particular, I do something about, it's called 3 in a row. And it's all about coming up with 3 different takes on a short piece. And I work on prototypes, where I play, people and say, this would be a good influence for you, steal with love, as the great Susan Blue used to say. And I also do coach some people promo, like John Wasser might say, I'm working with this young guy, he's got a great sound and all that, but I'm not taking him from square one. I'm taking him from somewhere here. So I don't give myself that much credit, but I have a good enough ear and work enough to be able to say, that's not marketable, or you need to be able to do that. And then, of course, deal with the psychology behind it and all. So in terms of anybody out there, I try to do it on a case-by-case basis. But yes, I'm looking for people that are at least in the process of auditioning, whether it's through a pay-to-play site or through their agents, regional agents, or, if they have, agents in larger markets. So I didn't ramble too much on that, did I?
No, that's good. Because it tells our listeners and our viewers about your I call it audition auditing. That's something that I do for Voice 123 talent. But
Yeah,
I love because I forgot you did that. And I want to remind everyone, because actually more coaches are coming out with the service. So I want to remind everyone that Tom does it. And you said you don't want to take much credit, but you're basically putting icing on an already great cake, which takes some major skill to be able to help working pros and
Mm.
Yeah.
people who are already very experienced. So
Yeah, well, I think it's I've decided it was my mission because we have so many people doing this
Mhm.
across the country, how it's opened up. It's like, well, how are you going to stand out among 600 people on Sound and Fury audition?
mhm,
Right.
mhm.
I mean, that's really what I have to do, is try to take you to your next level, whatever it is, or allow you the playtime to, because we get de facto reads, things that
I
work
call
for
them
us.
phoned in.
Phoned in, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and we want to make sure that maybe they don't always want phoned in Kim Wilson or
Right.
Natasha Marchewka. We have to look at column B,
Sure.
perhaps column C.
Mhm.
And that just, you know what the irony is that it really involves just a little more time and effort. And I think the whole thing where people say, I did 10 auditions today and all that, and you say, well, but did they all sound the same?
Right. Right.
How much love did they get? And to separate the activities,
Hmm.
because I think we all know if you're in the booth and you go, well, I might as well, I've got other things today, I've got to go pick up my daughter, or something, whatever like that. So I might as well do that now. But in the Paleozoic era, there were natural breaks because you were driving. Okay.
I
Right?
love that.
So you go, so let's say, Tosh, name a studio in LA that you've been in, just anyone.
Voice tracks
Okay, so you go to Voice Tracks. Okay.
in Studio City.
I think the first owner of Voice Tracks was the best.
Really?
You don't know that was me?
No.
Come on.
I don't think I knew
Don't
that.
do this.
That's awesome.
Okay, not at that location.
Okay.
My
Okay.
location was on Coenga Boulevard West, next to that, and for Angelinos, I know.
So that's why Voice Tracks West is called Voice Tracks West, because of you?
Yes, that was my name.
Tom
Yes.
didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and then
Anyway.
it moved. The people that bought it were there for another year and a half or so, and then they moved it. Jan Rapson and Cindy Rapson, the late Jan Rapson, God love him, it passed away unexpectedly last year.
Mhm.
Then they moved it to Ventura Boulevard, and then eventually they sold it to Andrew Feliciano. So when I go in there every once in a while, and by the way, I do go in there sometimes in LA if I'm staying there, and I'll record auditions there. Or if I was doing one of Mary Lynn Wisner's Meet the Pros in person, I'll come early, do some auditions or whatever. And then, of course, one of my engineers from the old Voice Tracks West on Coenga Boulevard West, Susan Palio, is still there.
That is awesome.
So
We didn't know. We didn't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
I'm sorry, didn't mean
But
didn't mean
overall-
to, but if you go to a studio, okay, and then you're done, and then you're going to go over the hill to your agents, as we used to say, right? So you're in the valley, and now you're going to go over to Sutton Barth Venari, which is the Fairfax district, where the farmers market is. So you have time in your car to decompress, decompress, right?
Yeah.
You can call.
Yeah.
Say, hey, honey, how's it going? How's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. Or you can call, that Macy's to see if that purse is in or whatever it is. You got the time to do that.
Yeah. That's
Right.
a
And
different
then-
life. Different life.
You know what I mean? And we
Yeah.
don't allow those breaks for ourselves in the audition process sometimes. So
Right. So
anyway,
someone else
audition audits are good and that's one of the first questions I asked, Tosh. How many are you doing in a day? Do you remember when you did this? Or how long are you waiting before you send it? Are you giving yourself review time? So,
Well, you've just given me permission to take even more breaks, because I have a hard time taking breaks just at my desk in my studio or at my desk, and I have a yoga mat just out there to lie down and do different things.
Well,
but
that's good. That's
But I get
really
into
good.
it and you're focused, and all of a sudden 2 hours have gone by. So that's
Right.
you just reinforced and given me permission to
you
take
can
even
do that.
more breaks.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Go
Oh,
back
that's
and
good.
listen
I don't
to
know.
it later.
Kim at least has the same thing that I have. I just go, I
Garden.
gotta go outside. Exactly.
Yeah, I have to go outside, I have to take a walk, and then I have to come back in through my garden, and then I come back in and listen and go, what the hell was I thinking? That
Yeah.
was awful.
You know what? You know what helps open up the brain cells? Lilacs.
I love lilacs.
I
Yeah,
have
it's
lilacs.
my little private joke with Kim because we just can't grow them here, and
We can't
she,
grow them. I love them so much. Being
Yeah.
from Canada, it's, I appreciate them
right.
so
You
much.
of course you would appreciate
They're my
them.
favorite. But when people
Anyway.
call them lilacs,
What
drives
do
me
you call
crazy.
what do you call them?
Lilacs.
Lukes,
Lilacs, not lilacs.
but it's spelled with an A.
You know what the
Uh-huh.
correct pronunciation is?
What, Tom?
The producer hitting the talkback button.
Yeah.
Okay, right? As we all
Whatever
know.
that guy
Oh.
says.
So
Whatever-
if I was the producer, I'd say it's lilac. Lilac.
What? And you know what's great? And then me as a talent, I go in and I do it, and I have to come back and make
Both.
another $450 to do a pickup on that word.
It's lilac.
It's a
then.
win-win.
Okay, so we know that you mostly work in the television narration genre, right?
Mm.
So we want the dirty details. What is the reality of working in TV narration and documentary full time?
I think full
I know that's-
time. No, that's okay.
I mean,
Full-
is it sustainable for a career full time to only do, or
I
does it have to be just
know-
a piece?
I know very few VO talent, working stiff VO talent,
Mm-hmm.
who pretty much make their biggest chunk doing TV narration.
A handful.
I don't want to mention names because
right.
then I would find out later. Oh no, I do this, but there are a few who
Mhm.
make. I'll put it this way. There are a few of those people, and I put myself in that same category during a certain period of years, that it was just, abundant. Let's face it, it's theatrical. So there's a bit of luck. It's the big leagues. This isn't like a radio, and I'm not trying to put down, this isn't like a radio commercial that 3 commercials that air in Peoria for 12 weeks and you're so happy about it.
Right.
This is on a national scale and of course a global scale with streaming. So the stakes are higher. They
Yeah.
listen to more people. And it's entertainment. So they're going, I really want, she sounds a little too sexy, or quite sexy enough, or she sounds a little too, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So therefore, there is an element of luck on it. And here's the other thing. I have lost jobs because they go, oh no, he's doing that thing on TLC.
Mhm.
And we don't want the same kind of spoof thing on our network. We want a different voice.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So you can make, let's say if you have, let's say 2 series going at the same time, and then there's like 10 episodes of those series. I'm talking about docuseries, okay, that pay more than reality series.
Mhm.
And you do a couple of documentaries in the year, I mean, for some, that might be, if you're living in a small town in Arkansas.
Well, you're not going to get hired. I'll tell you that.
Okay,
But we'll talk about that later.
But I'm just saying that, let's say you are
Not in California.
Not in California. And I'm just going to say, yeah, in terms of your real estate, you know what I mean? Like what your rent is like. I mean, I got to tell you, I found out from my daughter about her first cousin who lives in Wichita Falls, Texas, and what her house payment is. And she got so depressed. Okay.
Because she lives in California.
Okay. But if this cousin was in Wichita Falls, Texas, and was doing that amount of work, that would probably take care of her bills. And then on top of that, whatever her husband is making is fine. I look at this just like animation.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a candy store.
Mm.
There are very few people that end up being like, that's all they do. And I'm not saying that's all that Bob Bergen does, but Bob Bergen is a celebrity, is a working stiff celebrity, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Rob Paulson, working stiff celebrity. Tress McNeil, okay. Candy Milo, okay. So they're on multiple animation series. And then there's a lot of other people that they're on one series and they do guest shots and other stuff. So it's what they love to do most, like for me with TV narration.
Mhm.
So do I at least make money to take care of someone's school loans? No. Or
That's
whatever.
impossible.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
but I think people have to kind of reconfigure why they do TV narration, not because, that's how I'm going to make my living. It should be part of your arsenal. And if I
Yes.
can kind of, and maybe there's already and if I'm sorry, I don't want to cut off maybe another question, but I'm anticipating a follow-up question that, well, if you want to get this stuff and you need to be with a larger agent to get more audition opportunities, you can't just say, well, here's my TV narration demo. No, they want to hear the trifecta. They want to hear, what's your commercial demo like? Does it kick ass? Commercial, promo, TV narration, or commercial animation, TV narration. I'm keeping TV narration in there. Commercial, political TV narration.
Okay.
So, because these days, with the number of people wanting to do it, those larger agents want to sign people who will cover a range
Of materials.
Interesting.
material.
That's
Okay.
gold nugget, people.
Well,
So,
it's just reality, Kim. You know, that's what it is.
well,
Anyway,
I was recently on a wonderful workshop with someone who does a lot of TV narration from back in the day and still does. And so I asked her, is there still a lot of work? And she said, oh yeah, there's way more shows than there ever was before,
yep.
but it's still limited and still competitive. And I feel like it's still a small club. And so sounds like you would agree that
It's not as small a club
as it used to be.
Or what the animation world is, or the movie trailer world is.
Okay.
There are more reality series and docuseries and documentaries than there are cartoons. And a lot of the
Oh my
cartoons now
gosh.
are these little digital media things. And my agent sends me everything, even though I'm not going to do non-union, but they send us everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of things where it's like, and this is the rate. They've come up with an hourly rate for animation on digital thing. And it's like, you're guaranteed, they'll say $175 an hour, guaranteed 2 hours, that type of thing. The day player rate, if you were to do an episode of, give me your favorite cartoon from your past, whatever. Go ahead.
Scooby-Doo.
The Flintstones.
Scooby-Doo, either one. It's about $1,100 as a day player rate.
An episode. No, not an episode, a day.
Yeah.
Oh, an episode.
Well, you'll be there for 4 hours. But where people that were on Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, in that half hour, they did 3 shows.
Okay.
So they were making, and if you use that, 1,100 times 3.
Oh, okay.
Plus the residuals. The first time it runs, you get 50% of what it is, and and that continues.
So the rate
for animation.
And that's where the logistics are so different for TV narration, docuseries, etc., because it's not a series necessarily. I mean, it could be a series. It just contradicting myself. But in animation, you have this long running series, whereas in TV narration, they're not maybe as long.
Yeah.
Or you could have one-offs like your Charlie Manson thing. How many episodes was that?
That was 4 episodes. And it was 2 to begin with, and then there were 2 like follow-up a little bit later.
How long did it take you to record 4 episodes? Can you remember?
Oh, a typical session for 1 hour that is, and I'll say
A 1 hour show.
a 1 hour show that has significant copy, not
Uh-huh.
wall to wall. Nature is actually wall to wall, if you think
Right.
about it, because there are
Right.
no experts.
Right.
But it would take me about an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes, depending on the director,
Mhm.
you know, type of thing. Or if I've done several episodes for them, it could be an hour and 20 minutes. But you know, you want to take breaks in between. I always do my little walkabout.
Mhm.
You know, I get up, stretch my legs, say, okay, now we're coming into act 2.
Mhm.
Okay, and then 10, you know, and now we work on act 3.
Mhm.
And I think that's important for
Mhm.
all of us because
Mhm.
it reinforces specificity.
Mm.
It gives you a break. It
Mhm.
gets you out of a typical rhythm.
Mhm.
And we, like I said, that sitting down isn't good
Yeah.
for our back that
Mhm.
long. Well,
Mhm.
me, because I sit down when I narrate documentaries because otherwise I'm too Italian when I stand.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Tom, we need to take a break for our sponsors. But when we come
Oh,
back,
good.
I want to talk about the logistics of being hired because I know our listeners and viewers really want to understand that a little deeper. And also, viewers and listeners, we're going to have a part 2 of Thom Pinto and the truth about TV narration. So you'll be sure to tune in to that one. But let's hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Danny States. I'm the founder of VoiceOverview, and I just want to invite you to give us a try. We offer a 30-day free trial. We are the business tracking and management system designed by voice actors for voice actors. It's a great platform for you to manage and control your voiceover business.
Voice talent need quiet.
For us, quiet comes in the form of a STUDIOBRICKS booth.
Now, we've recorded in closets, and nothing against closets, but with families and the need to raise our game, we both independently bought a StudioBricks.
I love my booth because when clients see it on Zoom, they know I'm the real deal. But also, I feel more professional in it.
And I like StudioBricks because it's whisper quiet in my noisy neighborhood, and also it's gorgeous.
Right? I have a StudioBRICKS 1.
And I have the voiceover edition.
I want that.
Head over to StudioBricks.com.
World-class sound isolation booths, high-quality materials, less environmental burden. POZOTRON is the technology busy voice talent need. It literally cut our editing time in half.
POZOTRON overlays your script to your voiceover to ensure script accuracy. In moments, you'll discover pickups or a perfect read. Upload your script, upload your audio, and POZOTRON does the rest.
For audiobook proofing, this is a must. For e-learning and long-form narration, even one page of script. This process couldn't be easier. POZOTRON ensures your narration is word perfect, so you can focus on your performance and delivery.
Check out positron.com or email hello@positron.com for a free product demo. VoiceActor.com is the fastest way to have your website up and running right now.
Simple and fast.
It's the do-it-yourself website builder for voice talent.
No coding.
And you can edit your own content.
The plug-and-play website templates have everything a voice actor needs to insert demos, videos, testimonials, bios, and much more.
It's a no-brainer.
Websites work on any device.
And you can use your own domain name.
Go to voiceactor.com for more information.
VoiceActor.com, powered by voice actor websites.
Okay, we're back with the fabulous Thom Pinto. And we're going to ask him, Tom, everybody wants to know, how do I get hired? How do I get that job? Come on. So paint the picture of the reality. You know, you don't have to give away the secret sauce, but really, what does it mean? Let's just say for Kim and I, who we have a fair bit of experience in different genres, what does that look like in terms of being hired for a job in TV?
Look at his face.
I know he's
job,
speechless.
okay.
Girls.
He is speechless.
He is speechless, like the show. Okay, well, are you saying you're asking the question based on the premise that you had an audition for it?
No.
Okay, great. That's good. Okay. I'm going to start with, and I love it when I can use somebody's name because it's really nice for them. But a former client of mine, Rob Reed, ran into him at VO Atlanta, and he goes, "Hey, I gotta tell you.
Oh,
That's what his voice sounds like.
He booked from Voices 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 episodes for a fishing series on
Yay.
Discovery Channel.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Okay.
So it can be
So,
done. It can be
It can
done.
be done. You guys know and love, Tim Phelan. Okay.
Yes.
The first thing he did was from a local Philly site, and it ended up being a narrator for a kid's show that was on Saturdays now it was just Philadelphia, but still it opened up the door.
Yeah. it
Mhm.
did.
And then later on, he booked one of the very few TV narration auditions I've ever seen come out of Stars.
Okay.
Wow.
Stars is an agency, y'all, in San
Right,
Francisco.
San Francisco, thank you. And he booked it. And then what happened after that point for him was same client asked him to audition
Mm.
privately, didn't even go through Stars. I mean, the booking went through Stars.
Mhm.
So John Henry Krause, okay. John Henry Krause.
We love John Henry. Hi, John.
Of course we
Henry.
do. I know we do. Hi, John. So, John, as he tells the story, he has an overseas client, for some corporate narration. And the guy says, we're looking for an American voice for this entertainment show that we're doing here. We think it's about American entertainment. And he gets it that way.
So far, it's luck. So far, you've chalked it all up to luck here, Tom.
Any
What
women?
But
Any
some
women?
of it is. Yes. Michelle Blanker in Orange County.
Yay, we
has
love
been-
Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Michelle has been doing some entertainment profiles on
Hollywood Reporter, Hollywood News.
well, there you go. So you know what I'm
Perfect.
talking about. And she's not with a large agent
Mhm.
Right.
from that standpoint. And I also know that that there are a few people who have had, and I'm not real good at this, but my web designer was good for me when we redid the the website. He had some of those hyperlinks in there, so it says Thom Pinto, authoritative narrator, or blah, 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 blah. And so therefore, people, when they are Googling and they're saying, looking for a nature documentary person, I'm a little higher on the list. So I get some hits from that. Probably I'm going to say 3 or 4 a year, because again, consider the genre, TV narration. But then
Improving my SEO right now.
yeah. Yeah. So, and then I refer them to my agent. And if my agent calls me to say, hey, they're curious, or my agent doesn't call me, that means that they were trying to bottom feed.
Mhm.
I'm going to shout some love for Debbie Irwin. I mean, Debbie Irwin lives in New York, doesn't get this stuff through her New York agent, but she does a lot of things for the local PBS. She just got done doing something on a Native American tribe that I'm trying to remember what the mystery was, but anyhow, she shared the script with me because she wanted my opinion. But I think people are, and I know people want to get work. I get it.
Yeah.
And here I come. I'm a coach, but this is the big leagues.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready.
Yeah.
You can be ready faster to compete in the world of commercials on a local, regional, maybe even a national level, because it's one line.
Right.
And in the world of non-union, that can happen.
Mhm.
We've seen, how many outfits have we seen going, what?
Mhm.
They're non-union now?
Mhm.
But when it comes to the TV narration stuff, you're going to have to dig a little deeper to be a better storyteller.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to say something. My own personal reflection is, I've been narrating a long time, but I think we all want to grow, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I can draw a line, a connection between when I started writing again in 2013. That's 10 years. Because I have more respect for the written word,
Mhm.
or the writer's intent, because I'm looking at my own intent, and I'm reading other screenplays, friends who say, hey, would you read my type of thing? And I started to look at the intent and everything. So I look at, this is storytelling. It's not screenplay, but it's storytelling. So I look at it and I say, I'm looking for beginning, middle, and end. I'm looking for the shifts. I'm looking for what's the right tone for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to say, slow down.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient. The P word. You've got to be patient with these areas that everybody wants to do. Same thing. If you're an animation talent, you better be patient as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they're hiring so-and-so again. Yeah, that little mafia that you're talking about.
Mm.
I don't think that's so much the case in TV narration, because it's like they go working stuff, and celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tom, you're on a veil. They really love you, you're released because they're using Peter Coyote.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no joke. I made
Mhm.
it sound like a joke, but that's happened to me a couple times.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, have patience with the process. The marketing thing will be there. And for those who are ready, like you guys, okay, then it's dialing for dollars, or it's 21st century yellow pages. Let your fingers do the walking. Make those connections.
Relationships. Mhm.
Exactly. Make those relationships.
Tom, with that, I want to say to our audience, we have several more questions for Tom. So we're going to do a part 2. So we're going to end here. I want you all to listen to the end card of our show. If you've gotten this far, we adore you. The end card is Tom's voice. He so kindly did the promo voice for our show. But for now, let's just say, fuck it. Let's be awesome now. We've got shit to do.
Now, exactly.
This episode of Speechless is brought to you by
Speechless.